What exactly was the Cold War? After World War II ended in 1945, the world was left with two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. Both of these nations emerged from the war with immense military strength and influence. However, they had very different ideas about how countries should be run. The United States believed in a system where people could vote for their leaders, own private property, and run businesses for profit. This ideology is called capitalism, and it emphasizes individual freedoms and economic competition. The Soviet Union, on the other hand, promoted communism. In this system, the government controls all property and businesses, aiming to create a society where everyone is equal and there are no rich or poor classes. They also had a one-party system where the Communist Party had control over the government. These two ideologies were fundamentally opposed, which led to a lot of tension and competition between the two superpowers. Since this global standoff didn't involve direct fighting between the two superpowers, hence, the term Cold War is used to describe this period. Since both nations had just come out of war, which had caused enormous economic strain and loss of life. Neither the United States nor the Soviet Union wanted to enter another devastating war that would further drain their resources and result in massive casualties. Instead, they opted for a Cold War, which involved indirect conflict through other means. The Cold War was a period of intense rivalry and tension between these two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, from the end of World War II in 1945 until the early 1990s. Many countries in Europe and Asia were left weakened after the war, creating a power vacuum. Both the United States and the Soviet Union sought to fill this vacuum by spreading their own ideologies and gaining allies. The United States implemented the Marshall Plan, providing economic aid to help rebuild Western European economies, thus preventing the spread of communism. The Soviet Union, meanwhile, established control over Eastern Europe, creating a bloc of communist states known as the Eastern Bloc. Another aspect of the Cold War is the nuclear arms race. After the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, the world saw the devastating power of nuclear weapons. The Soviet Union quickly developed its own nuclear arsenal, leading to a dangerous arms race. Both superpowers amassed large stockpiles of nuclear weapons, leading to the concept of mutually assured destruction. This meant that if one side launched a nuclear attack, the other would retaliate, resulting in total destruction for both. This fear of complete destruction kept both sides from engaging in direct military conflict, but fueled intense competition. Moreover, the two superpowers also directly engaged in proxy wars. Instead of fighting directly, the United States and the Soviet Union supported opposing sides in various conflicts around the world. For example, in Korean War, the United States supported South Korea, while the Soviet Union and China supported North Korea. And in Vietnam War, the United States backed South Vietnam against the Communist North, which was supported by the Soviet Union and China. These conflicts allowed both superpowers to exert their influence and promote their ideologies without engaging in direct warfare. The United States and the Soviet Union also competed economically and politically. The United States aimed to contain the spread of communism through policies like the Truman Doctrine, which promised economic and military help to countries threatened by communism. For example, in 1947, the United States provided significant aid to Greece and Turkey to help them resist communist influence. Greece was experiencing a civil war against communist insurgents, and Turkey was under pressure from the Soviet Union. The United States' support helped these countries remain free and independent. On the other hand, the Soviet Union supported communist movements and revolutions worldwide. They provided aid, training, and military assistance to groups and countries trying to establish communist governments. For instance, the Soviet Union supported the communist forces in the Chinese Civil War, which eventually led to the establishment of the People's Republic of China in 1949. Both superpowers formed military alliances to strengthen their positions: NATO for the United States and its allies, and the Warsaw Pact for the Soviet Union and Eastern European countries. The Cold War also saw competition in space exploration. Both superpowers aimed to demonstrate their technological superiority. The Soviet Union launched the first artificial satellite, Sputnik, in 1957, while the United States achieved the first manned moon landing in 1969 with Apollo 11. And furthermore, both superpowers engaged in extensive espionage to gather information and gain an advantage. Agencies like the CIA in the United States and the KGB in the Soviet Union conducted covert operations, spying on each other and influencing global events behind the scenes. In summary, the Cold War happened due to deep ideological differences, the power vacuum after World War II, the nuclear arms race, proxy wars, espionage, economic and political strategies, international alliances, the space race, and the decisions of key political leaders. These factors combined to create a tense and competitive global environment that lasted for nearly half a century without escalating into a full-scale war.